How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I may be under the weather, but I've got two devices on my hands that reach for the sky. That was get it under the weather, reach for the sky. That was pretty bad, but I have two awesome Android devices in my hands. And you know what we do in PhoneDog land? We dogfight the devices to see which one's the best. EVO 4G LTE over here, HTC One X over here. Both brethren from HTC, but they're packing some slightly different features, and one's on Sprint and one's on AT&T. Which one's the best? We're going to find out, but first some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like the 4G LTE and the One X for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, your display settings, all that good stuff. So when you walk out the door, you're snapping pictures with the awesome camera on both of these devices at Best Buy Mobile. Let's check it out. HTC EVO 4G LTE, HTC One X, which one's the top dog? We're going to find out starting right now. Two hot phones, and when you really boil down to it, they're about the same. You've got the HTC EVO 4G LTE over here, available now on Sprint. The customs bans have finally lifted, and then you have the HTC One X over here on AT&T. Available for $199.99, available for $199.99, and when you really get down to the nitty-gritty, this is basically an HTC One X with a few modifications to make it even more awesome, or awesomer, awesomest, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Forgive my voice, I've got a nasty cold, and that's no good. So, you know what? It's okay. The voice is going to be a little bit deeper. I'm going to sound a little bit more manly in this video. That's alright, friends. That's a good thing, right? So you got two phones here, both HTC, both different designs though, but both with a lot of cool features. Obviously on Sprint, on AT&T. Let's do a quick rundown of the specs here. 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor here, a 4.7-inch HD display with 720p, an 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, so a nice big battery, even though it's non-removable, a big battery over here, a micro SD card slot, which is hidden behind this little panel. So even though, again, the battery is non-removable, you've got a micro SD card slot, you got a kickstand on this bad boy, preserving the original EVO line with a little kickstand, which you can actually use on the front or on the back side. And then you got a front-facing camera, and then you got Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich, with HTC Sense version 4 built in. Now what I like about this one, physical camera button over on this device. So you look at the benefits of this over the One X. You got a kickstand, you got a physical camera button, and you've got a slightly larger battery. That brings me over to this one, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor over here. A little bit of a different design with a polycarbonate shell here. So it's got kind of a plastic look and feel to it, but don't be fooled, it's polycarbonate, and it's got glossy sides and a cool texturizer, I wouldn't say texturized, but a cool texture on the back as well. 8-megapixel camera, front-facing camera, 4.7-inch HD display, a little bit of a smaller battery, 1,800 milliamp hour battery over here, no kickstand, and then it has Sense 4.0 running atop Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich. And I should say it's not Sense 4.0, it's actually Sense 4. Don't let HTC hear you say Sense 4.0. But all in all, very similar in terms of the way that they both respond and operate. They both have 7 home screens. Sense 4 is a huge improvement over previous builds of Sense. I'm really impressed with it. You know, this is coming from the Resound, the Rime, some of these devices that have had previous builds of Sense that just aren't great. They're not great in terms of the look and feel, and they seem to be a little bit bloaty, you know, especially after you've had the device for a couple of months. You're like, this thing's lagging. This is a really light version of Sense, and it offers enough customization where it gives you some nice abilities, but not too much where you feel like it's bloaty. So obviously lock screens look very similar. Take a look at the settings on both of these devices as well, how these have changed. You got both of these here, and then you have your personal, your phone, and then you got a tickle in the throat. I'm trying so hard not to cough. Phone, and then you got to activate this device over here. Now both of these are LTE devices as well, so they run LTE on Sprint, LTE on AT&T. Now the caveat to that, to use the big words like caveat, no LTE on Sprint just yet. LTE hasn't rolled out in any market as of the making of this video. 3G only right now, and so this is one of those devices that doesn't have WiMAX, so it doesn't use Sprint's existing 4G. So if you're coming from maybe the Epic Touch, Epic 4G Touch, or some of their WiMAX devices like the EVO 4G, it's going to be a little bit weird if you're in an area like Charlotte where for 2 years you've had 4G and then you go back to 3G before you go to 4G. Excuse me. I tried, but I couldn't make it through without that cough. But back to 3G over here. Sprint's 3G speeds have not been the best. We'll talk about that more in part 2. Down here, same setup, back, home, and then recent applications. Take a look at the recent apps on both of these devices, how they stack up. A little bit different than stock Android over here, but overall, the look and feel is really nice. I like the implementation here, and a lot of people have been kind of frustrated with some of the HTC customizations, like recent apps, a lot of the reviewers that is. I think it's pretty decent. I think they've done a good job in a lot of ways. Take a look at the menu as well. Out of the box, you get a couple of things on both of these devices. You get AT&T code scanner, AT&T family map. You get a couple of things over here. You get, of course, the Google stuff, but then you see Sprint Zone, and that's about it. You get visual voicemail, then you get access to Google Wallet, and then you get access to Shopper as well. So you get a couple of different options out of the gate here. Now down here you'll see frequent and then downloads at the bottom, then up top you have search, Play Store, and then menu on both of these devices. Now what I really like is, stock Android, you may have some shortcuts up here, or may have shortcuts all around the device, but you don't get a whole lot of ideas to what they are. I love that HTC's added text down at the bottom so I can say, oh, these three little random dots and no one would probably know what they are. Well, it's menu. That's a really nice touch as well. Dock down here at the bottom, you notice it corresponds to the applications that are in your lock screen. So for example, internet, notice how internet's down here. Gmail, notice how Gmail's down here. If I want to drag something up and take it out, I can take Gmail out, put internet in, for example, and then turn it off and back on. And you can see it becomes one of my shortcuts when I power the device on. Now there are a lot of different personalization options on both of these devices, but we'll show it on the EVO 4G LTE. Take a look at the scene, the skin, the wallpaper, the lock screen style, the shortcuts, and the home screen. Available on the One X as well. And then out of the gate you can see changing the wallpaper. You've got a bunch of different skin options here with the ability to get more if you want to. And actually I want to pull it up on the One X because I did download, I took them up on that and downloaded a few extra options over here. So you can see skin aluminum, and we'll come over here and take a look. And Infinite, let's see the one that, there it is, Spaceship Earth. That's one that I downloaded from HTC Hub. And same thing over here with wallpapers and lock screen style. So we're going to go to HTC wallpapers, and you can see some of the ones I've downloaded recently. I've got Nature, Abstract, City, and more, all from HTC Hub. So it really offers a nice little personalization ecosystem, if you will, because with HTC Hub, all I have to do is click Get More here, and I can easily jump right in and download ringtones, wallpapers, and more. Let's take a look at messaging on both of these devices. So obviously you're seeing a lot of similarities between both of these devices, and for a lot of people it's really going to depend on which carrier you're on. If you're on a carrier, you're on Sprint already, you're on AT&T already, that's obviously going to be the solution for you. But if you're looking for a change, perhaps you like one of the different designs, you want the bigger battery over here, you like AT&T's LTE better, whatever, you may want to go with this one or this one. So we'll load up messages on both of these. So obviously 4.7-inch displays on both. This has HTC's new keyboard. It's available obviously on both of these. I downloaded one called Ice Cream Sandwich Keyboard Donation on the One X, which is available from the Android market, or from Google Play rather, for an additional fee. But we can see Sense, for example. A few changes here into the way the look and feel, but what I really like, the display here, this has a little bit more of an industrial feel to it, so it's got more of a flat look and feel, whereas you'll notice this display kind of curves on the sides, and it gives it a little bit of a different feel when you're typing. It doesn't seem like much, but when you're typing a long message, it really does make a difference. So we'll say the Quick Brown Fox. I find that my typing is faster on the EVO 4G LTE. Quick Brown Fox is back from the holiday. Quick Brown Fox is back from the holiday. Overall, it's a pretty decent keyboard, the Quick Brown Fox. Happy for Tuesday, because it's only 3 days from Friday, yo. Quick Brown Fox, and that's terrible and spelled all wrong, and there are a bunch of errors. But you can see the portrait to landscape transitions reasonably fast over here, and I don't want to spend too much time on that. You do get Swipe pre-installed out of the box. As you can see, I can go into Compose, switch out my keyboard here. I'm sorry, Google Voice Typing, that is. Sense, and then of course you can download additional options from Google Play like I did. SwiftKey, things like that are all available. Let's load up the internet on both of these devices and take a look. Now obviously both of these are LTE. For whatever reason, LTE isn't showing up over on the One X, but let's see what we can do. There we go, 4G LTE working this time around. So PhoneDog.com's loading up on both of these, and you can see it's already loaded up over here on the EVO 4G LTE. Pinch to zoom, very responsive, and as you'll see it is on both devices, but very responsive here, little to no lag, and it's loaded up over here, but it took forever, which actually unfortunately during the cut it obviously loaded. You didn't get a chance to see how slowly it loaded, but Sprint's 3G, absolutely terrible right now. Hopefully the network vision updates will help that, but you can see here, very responsive all around. And then when you get up to the top, you have the ability to open up new tabs. You can add to, change bookmarks, and then go to your menu here as well, and easily access everything you need for the browser, including turning on desktop sites, enabling flash players, and more. It's quick and easy on both devices.